Hey guys, how are we doing? What? Day off? Much better. I tend to not take days off. I tend to just trade every single day. And sometimes when you have a bad day, it's just good to take a bit of time off. So, yeah, I feel much better. Rejuvenated, so shall we say. So, quickly, I've just been looking at this. I've been looking at this trend here. In fact, I traded an evaluation 10 contracts on that and got up to $1,500. It was a second entry. We're clearly sort of touching this line here. I like that one there. So I took that on an evaluation. I don't think you can see it here, can you? No.
Stop and buy.
And I've been looking at this as well. We've had a breakout, made a higher low, and I looked at it there, but then it went sideways a bit. And then we had that failure. And it triggered, and I was umming and ahhing because obviously we're going into these highs. It's hard to know whether we're in a. I mean, we're obviously in a channel, but are we in an overall range? The last few days we seem to be ranging, and I don't really want to get caught out. And in all fairness, there's if you sort of took that failure, there's only sort of 1.3 1.75 points to the top, and what it may do is tick above there and drop. So I didn't really want to trade there. What I'm trying to do now, I've been thinking about things and trying to focus on things. And I put a post out on the Facebook group, now the chat there. And I think what happened, it started a couple of days ago. I looked back on some of my old videos, and I was making more money. But when I looked at the trades were a lot risky, and I probably had quite a good run. But you can't trade like that consistently, really, unless you're prepared to take a lot more losses. I mean, you can go for way more points if you want, but you're going to take losses. If you go for 4 to 6 points, you're going to take losses. Something who goes for 3 or 4 points is going to fail. So it's not something I can do at the moment, really. Maybe, I watch, as you guys know, I watch the Penguin guy a lot, and he goes minimum 1 to 1. And with his trades, it's a minimum of 3 points, and in some cases 6 points, or maybe a bit more. And he does the old, we got a channel here, made 2 attempts to go lower, and there we go. So he may go 1 to 1 there. Who knows whether it make it? But that's something later on down the line. I might, when you've been trading a while, you'll notice the pattern. You can look back on your trades, and you can figure out, what I'm doing now is making a note of every trade that I think may go for 1 for 1. I'm just making some notes, so hopefully I can build up a picture in time. But that one did work in the end. I would have come out a tick below there if I'd have taken that. So there we go. I mean, it looks like it's going higher, but whether it might pop out, what was concerning me is it might pop out the top. There may be some sellers because we got these 3 attempts, and it may just drop. See, that was concerning me, but what I will say is there's a mass load of liquidity at 45.30, so it may get up there. So that may obviously not only break the highs, but finish up here somewhere. We'll see. So, what? How you doing, buddy? Brick, afternoon. Tim, how you doing? Rodian, how you doing, buddy? Indy, how you doing? Robot voice in the background. Let me have a look. Sorry about that. Let me have a look. Yeah, it should have gone now. Yeah, I keep forgetting about that. so yeah, maybe that's something to think about later on. I do try and watch the Penguin trader a lot. I really rate him as a trader, and he tends to average 6 points in a day. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you make 6 points in a day, you're going to make a ton of money. So there we go. Anyway, so if I said hello to, where do we get up to? Exponential Trader. Can you mute your bookmap? Should have gone now, bud. Sania, how you doing, buddy? JP, how you doing? Sania, 45.25 target done. Excellent. Good place for reversal if we get under the EMA. Yeah, I mean, it's at the moment, market's just opened actually 10 seconds ago. It's hard to know whether we're ranging and whether we're going to come down here or not, but it's obviously clearly finding some resistance. So if we can push below here and maybe give us a lower high, then maybe I expect to. It's hard to say though. We could just come down to these lows here. So it's ranging within about 6 points from top to bottom, I think. So obviously you've got to be a little bit careful. So, okay, so we've made a new high there. I think we have. Let's just check. Yeah, we have by 1 tick. Okay, so let's just get an order ready
submitted.
just in case we get a lower high. I don't think we're going to. We're just going to drop down. Okay, so we had that channel up anyway, and we had 2 attempts to go lower. Nice big bullish bar, and it was going to work, but I don't know. It was a big old bar, and I thought I'll see what it does, and it started to go sideways, and then I saw the failure, and I don't know. It's a bit close. You don't know whether it's going to break a new high or whether it's going to bounce. Okay, so we've pushed down, we've come back up. Let's see if we drop here now. We'll see. See, if this continues to go higher, then I'm going to extend this range out. Interesting. Well, I didn't expect that. Let me just get rid of that a minute.
Order
So
canceled.
what's going on here? Sorry if you can hear barking under the desk. It's not me, I assure you. Let's see where this goes. If it continues up, then maybe we extend this. Let's have a look. It's hard to say at the moment. Maybe we extend this. I'm not sure yet. There is strong liquidity at 30. And there's some at 32 as well. So, but there is some at 15. So it might just be like a failed break. It's hard to say at the moment, but do seem to be trying to push higher. So we'll see. Took a quick hit on that. Which one did you go? You went down there, did you, or something? Did you? Where'd you go? Hey, Scruffy, how you doing, bud? Now we will play for 43.57. 43.57. I think you're talking about the NQ, aren't you? Nasdaq, yeah. Okay. Right, okay, so Nasdaq slightly bullish, so they tend to follow it. So there's a possibility something is... Oh, look at that. Okay, maybe... Yeah, maybe we're moving up something like this. Touch here. If we can get up to the tops here. Yeah, I didn't expect that actually. The way it was halted on the top here, I thought we were going to push in and excuse me, more going to a range. Okay, I'll just check the news. Got no news. We had some earlier. It was that little spike. I was watching it. Nothing really happened. Arminus, how you doing? Oh, excuse me. Sam, how you doing, buddy? Indy went long. Where'd you go long? There, did you? Yeah. Nothing there, really, is there? Oh, no, you can't have gone long there, could you? If you took a hit. Well, let's hope you're okay. Yeah, I'm okay, Alex. I'm all right, mate. Everything was working well. Everything was nice and settled with me, and I decided to get a bit greedy and go for more points. And I got a little bit of a hiccup. I should have left it alone, to be honest with you, but that's the trouble. Why fix something that's not broken? You get a bit greedy, and I took a couple, literally, within the space of a day and a half, I had 3 losses, which would have comfortably made 3 points, you know, although I was going for 2. And I decided to go for 4 a little bit more. But the downside to that is you're going to take more losses, and I'm just not in the right frame of mind to trade like that, really. I'd rather get a smaller. But 2 points was working really well. So, have a look. Yeah, I've actually got it for 2 points and a tick, and the reason is I don't put my order 1 tick above the signal bar. I hover it on the close and wait for the market to tick above it, and then I drop it there, so that extra tick just pays the commissions, really, if you think about it like that. 500 tick chart, yeah, I made money. 500 tick charts. Was it you mentioned that the other day, was it? That's interesting, isn't it? A lot more movement there. Well, as there should be 4 times the amount. That's annoying. Okay, that does seem to be working in there. So for now, I'm going to get rid of that. I didn't like it when it was like this, but now it's pushing up. It's starting to make sense. So what I'm guessing we've got is a couple of legs working up there. So one, I would say, actually probably there. There's a bit bigger of a drop there than that there. So I would say we're likely to be moving up there, which would correspond with this channel nicely. So we've had a push up. We've made 1, 2 attempts, maybe to here. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's all right actually. Okay, so yeah, it does look like we're, in fact, we're actually on a couple of smaller legs there. 1 leg up, 2 legs up. In fact, let's change these 2 for a different colour. Might make it a bit easier. Okay, so we've got 2 bigger legs, I'd guess, and obviously 2 smaller legs, and same again, smaller legs there. So these legs really make sense. I mean, look at that. That's not close. That's actually bang on accurate. Right to the nearest tick. Unreal, isn't it? 1 leg, 2 leg, 1 leg and a 2-legged correction, and another leg. And then we came back to here, 1 leg and another leg. So maybe we have a little correction here and then another push up. So this is where we got to look for a correction here. So there's our first entry. If we can get 1 leg, if we can get back here somewhere and get a nice bullish bar, I'm interested in going along there. Now what I will say is there is, what am I looking at here? Oh dear horses, what am I looking at here? Something's not right there. Okay, I had the wrong thing on there. So yeah, 33, red at 33, so up here. So I'd say this is an area where we're likely to go. I was hoping we get a couple of legs back there, but nothing. So some really strong liquidity around about the 32.5, which is around about there. So I'd expect that to get hit. And there's some at 40 as well. And there's some at 40 up here. So we may get a bit of a decent trend. I'll try and take advantage of it if we get some offerings. So 1 leg, 2 legs. So let's get rid of that now. So if we can get a couple of legs back here and another push up. See the first one, there's 1, 2, 3 legs in there and a couple of legs back. 1, 2. Very strong there. If we can get a quick second entry there, let me just get an order ready just in case we get
order
an offer.
Submitted.
That's it. Come back, come back, come back. There we go. Another quick drop. And a bullish bar would be nice. Yeah, I got to stop reading comments. I hear Sanny saying short 4-5. Sorry, Harjit 4-5-3-1. I'm thinking about going long here. Not short in it. Well, obviously given an offering. And Sania 45-17 pending, like we're going to come down and see. To me, this is going up. I got to stop reading comments. Obviously, if we get an offering, certainly expecting it to get to this area first and foremost. But we're clearly working in here, aren't we? There's no argument there. Yeah, so Sani's on. No, sorry. Harjit's on about shorting now. 45-31. See if we can get a couple of legs back. I'm still thinking about going long because it's clearly working in this channel for me.
Order
having
canceled.
said that, it's only really oh yeah, touch. Okay, so it has touched it. Let me get my order ready.
Order submitted.
I need to come back down here. One leg, two leg, and another bullish bar. How do you watch him? What have you? Are you subscribed to him? Because I might do that myself. Can you actually see his chart? I'll have to have a chat with you later. What? Because I do like him, and it might be useful if I could see his chart as well, just to help learn his stats. Okay, so leg back. If we can get a drop here and then a bullish bar, like I never say, chase. Yeah, the trouble is if I'm going for something, if I'm thinking about going long and I hear someone saying short at so-and-so, I can't sort of unhear it. I just need to start looking. If we can get a little drop here, and then a bullish bar sitting above that EMA, it was a second entry long and a higher low. And 1, 2, 3, a triple test. So for me, if something looks nice there, it's got to be a long. So 1, 2, 3. If we can drop below here and get a bullish bar, it's a second entry long, it's a higher low, and it's a triple test, and we're moving up. So the thing is, when Harjit says short at 31, he might mean just for a couple of points, in which case that will go down to about 29 is where I'd like it to drop to. Okay, so if I need a bullish bar now for me to go long, I'm happy with that. So we've pushed up. We've made 1, 2 attempts to go lower. Yeah, that's looking beautiful. I just hope it waits for us. Hey, Sam, how you doing, mate? I was thinking about you last night. I hadn't heard from you for a while. Okay, so if this finishes bullish, this is going to be a beauty. Yeah, I had my feelings it was not going to. Let me see. Come on, get up. Come on. Oh, that's so tempting. That's so tempting. It's not a terrible bar. It's not a terrible bar, that. It's bounced off here and pushed up. What is it? 28, 30, it's 1.375 points. 1, 2, 3. It's still a triple test and a second entry. I've seen Mac take trades like that. Okay, let's give it a whirl.
Order filled.
We're in. Let's put it there. I'm just coming out the tops. Where is that? Well, that's 6 ticks. Just go for 6 ticks. 1, 2, 3, triple test, second entry long. Not a terrible signal bar. I've seen Mac take signal bars a lot worse than that. I think it's worth the trade. It is a triple test. That's for certain. Just going for 6 ticks on this one. It's pushed up. We're clearly in an uptrend. So 1, 2, 3. We've bounced twice. We've pushed down and we've closed above there. Another tick, and that would be really good. But yeah, I've seen Mac take a lot worse looking bars than that. And it's also a second entry long, and we're clearly moving up. It's right at the key entry point. So we'll see. I think the trade's good enough to take, so I'm in it and I'm leaving it. From now on, I don't get out of anything. If I take it, I just leave it. If it wins, it wins. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's a maximum of 2-point risk, so it's not terrible. So I ain't fanning around anymore. I would say way more of my trades that I get out of for a tick loss or break even go on to win. So I'm leaving it like that. It's off the key entry point. It's a triple test. It's a second entry long. The only slight downside is it could be doomed with a tick higher, but I'm okay with that. Now, there is a possible fails second entry long that may trip. Oh, okay, straight down. All right, well, there we go. There we go. So that's my first loss, so it's not terrible. I don't mind that. I don't mind because I thought it was worth the trade because we're clearly moving up. So 1 leg down, 2 legs down. Okay, we'll see. It is a bit frustrating, but 1, 2, 3. Sometimes you just got to make the decision. This is about to roll over down. Yeah, see, I got to stop reading comments because let's have a look. Trouble is, 1 touch, 2 touch. We're clearly working up. We're clearly in an uptrend. I thought that was okay, actually. Once, twice, triple test, second entry long. Another tick. It might have been a tick more different on someone else's chart. So we're clearly in an uptrend, in my opinion. Let's have a look. So pushed up, made 1 attempt to go lower, a second attempt to go lower. We'll see. What was that? Minus 2 points. I've got no problem. Minus 2 points. Feels close to a high. There's enough points to get out if you go here. Was it 1.2? Well, 1.1. I had it at the high. I think it was, I came in right on the dot and I had it at 6 ticks, which is why I adjusted it. But it is a triple test. I think the only downside is it could have done with being a tick higher, but there we go. I'm just going to reload my historic. Something I didn't do. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. That's the trouble. See, my picture's telling me we're moving up. Does seem to be coming down, doesn't it? So you shorted there, yeah? Channel is wrong. I don't know how. Touch here, touch here, touch here. Well, how can you say it's wrong? Looks alright to me. Trouble is, if you go from there to here, I suppose you could go from there to there, couldn't you? So you did a measured move from where here? Where? Oh, I don't know. Let's get rid of it. Yeah, it was a triple test. I think the only thing was the signal bar, but we did drop out and we've pushed up now, so I expect to hit that liquidity area there. So that's why I just couldn't understand shorting at 30. I'll see. It may come tangling down. I don't know, maybe that might be the short. High or low there. Triggered. Okay, excuse me just for 2 minutes. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay. Yeah, just can't trade that. It's choppy sideways. Hmm. Maybe. See if this finishes bullish. Tell you what then. All right, let's give it a go.
Order
Just going to
filled.
trade one of my accounts. That's it. Two-point risk. See what happens. That's it. I'm leaving it there. At least I've made a tick. See if it does come down anymore, if you're right. Actually, let's go for break even. Give it a little bit of space. See, the trouble is this is at the bottom of the key entry point now, see, so... let's at least take a tick out of it. Oh, no, let's leave it there in case it triggers above. And then comes down. Yeah, I don't like just listen to people and just...
Stop filled.
Yeah, well, I got a tick out of it. I don't like just listening and going short. I shouldn't do it, really. But, well... Yeah, I can't be doing that, really. I really can't. That's the trouble where you're hearing things on the stream that are going, "Oh, go short, best," you know what I mean? But yeah, I think what I'm going to do now is have an initial chat, and then I'm just going to have to. Yeah, and then I'm gonna. That's the trouble when you, because I know Harjit and Sani are more experienced traders, and when you hear these things again and again and again, so from now on, I'm just gonna have to stop reading the chat. Yes, if you went short again, that happened. Yeah, so we're going to make a new high from here. Let's have a look. Thanks, Tim. Okay, guys, with respect to Sania and Harjit, I've had to remove their comments from now onwards, and I know it might upset some people, and I get it, but it is, you know, obviously I'm streaming here, and it's affecting my trading, and it's, you know, I want to converse with people, but it does mess systems up, and it messes everyone up really. reading someone else telling you what to do. We all need to learn our own way of doing things. So I apologise if it's upset anybody. But it's having too much of an impact on the channel. It's, I'm thinking about going long, and I'm hearing short things and that. So, obviously, with me being streaming and the channel, I sort of have the final say on it. I don't want to do it because they're nice guys, but if it's affecting my trading, it's gonna be affecting other people's trading, and you can't just trade based on people going short at so and so, long at so and so. It just doesn't work. So with respect to them, it's I don't want to do it, but I think it's just a decision that I've got to make. So I apologise. You're welcome to contact them and do something separate with them. That's fair enough. But it's affected me, and obviously, I've done this sort of. It's my channel, Although I think about it as us helping each other, but I'm just starting to think that it's maybe a little bit counterproductive. So if I've upset anybody, offended anyone, I apologise. That wasn't my intent. Now, a lot of their trades work, but the trouble is when we're learning to trade by ourselves, you can't just. I'm doing things that I wouldn't normally do, So, with respect to them, I don't want to be nasty to them because they're nice guys, and they clearly know what they're doing. But I find it's affecting me, and it's affecting me. I'd say it's lightly affecting, some other traders. It is. It's, as much as I don't want the trouble is, when I'm sitting here and I hear them saying short at so and so, and it drops by 5 points, you can't help but feel, I need to listen to them, and then but then it affects your trade, and it's not the way to do it. So obviously, with it being my stream, I get the decision. I hope it's the right one. I hope I haven't offended anyone, and with respect to them, they're both nice guys, but I just think the comments are just, I don't know, they're not helping me, and they may not be helping some others, and it is turning more into a sort of signals thing, isn't it? And I don't want that really, and I'm not blaming them, I'm blaming myself. So I hope, I know you chat with them, so I hope I haven't offended you, bud. That wasn't my intention. But, by all means, if any of you want to contact them, let me know, or drop something in the messages of the video. I'm pretty sure they'll be happy to contact you. I think they teach anyway, so, if you want to go down that road, then, that's fine. That's okay. I was doing okay, see, and lately, I don't know, just I've got the comments literally above my head, so you can't really unread them. And I do like chatting with other people when times are quiet, and when something's happening, then obviously I'll focus a bit more. But you can't unread some things, and that there lies the problem. See, I've got stuff in my head now. I'm thinking this is a trend, and I'm looking for areas to go long, and then I'm hearing some of them saying short to 15, which is, it may happen. But if you're trading Pats, and we're clearly moving up, we don't want to be looking for shorts yet. If it does have a break, or if it's had a break and made a new high, then obviously shorts. See, Alex, you're saying second entry long. I'm thinking looking for a second entry long, but then, the experienced guys are saying possibly down to 15. Well, it may do. But in our scenario, in our types of trading, it's not a way we can trade really. So if I've offended anybody, I apologise. So we're touching here, touched a couple of times here, touched here, touched here, touched here, and on the top, nice. It's clearly working up. Now, if Mac had this in front of him, I'd be 98% sure he'd have exactly the same thing. So what would we be doing? We'd be looking for a decent long entry. Now, maybe it's hitting this again and again, and maybe it does need a bit of a drop to flush. But that's out of our sort of remit, really. So, yeah, that's it. Yeah. See, they more go for more points. They have wider stops. We don't really. We go for short stops, short points. Now, it may start to dip and it is starting to look bearish. It may come down, but regardless of whether it does or not, you know, you can't unread something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, a class Wood as a trader buddy of mine is someone I chat to. If I ever have a tough day, he always sends me a nice message, so I class him as a pal. And I hope I haven't offended him by doing that. I've got no issues if he wants to, you know, chat with them separately or set something up separately. If Wood wants to go down that road, I'll support him 100%. He's helped me many times. Whenever I get a tough day, Wood's one of the regular people that sent me a nice message at the end of the day. So he's a nice guy. See, there could be an overall range. It's possible, but obviously, clearly at the moment, it's been going up. So. And obviously, if we do have a breakdown here, we'll be looking to go long, not necessarily looking to get down to 15. Yes, if we can push above the EMA and maybe get a higher low or something. We have had a break and it's pushed back in. The trouble is, if you start mixing, you know, strategies, it just ends up getting you in a bit of a mess. And I don't want to offend them because they're nice guys. Okay, so there is a failed second entry long there, but obviously until we sort of make a new high or maybe start working down, my thoughts are still up at the moment until I see something any different, because we've actually dropped out and pushed straight back in. So we'll see. Oh, good on you, Jay. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Trouble is, trading's so stressful sometimes, and you know, when you're struggling, sometimes, you know, somebody gives you a lifeline, and you know, you see the market, he says it's going to drop 5 points, and you get in and you drop 5 points, and it can mess with your head a little bit. Yeah, I mean, the only difference I trade slightly different, and I think most people do now, is I go for 2 points. Mac trades a point, but I know even people like Marco and Daniel now trade 6 ticks. So, and effectively, I only really trade 7 ticks, because whereas most people, if they would drop in below there, they put their order 1 tick below that signal bar. I actually hold my limit order actually on the close of it and wait for it to tick lower, so then I drop mine in. So I've saved myself a tick, so I'm only really going for 1 tick less than them. So apart from that, you know, I was watching some of Mac's videos, but you know, you do slip, and I think it was it Indy said to me the other day, see, that's looking tempting, isn't it? Let me have a
Order
look.
submitted.
Let's have a look. That's a higher low. See if it breaks higher than that other one. If it breaks higher, I'll take it. So the trouble is, I've got a selling hard, me thinking short, and it makes me sort of, you know what I mean? Well, I'm not saying they're wrong, but obviously I need a clear focus. Okay, so we've had a little break out of here, and we've pushed up. Okay, that's turning into a no-no, so glad that didn't trigger.
Order cancelled.
Now, obviously, this touch. It's clearly working in there. No arguments there. Perfect touch there. Perfect touch. Perfect. We're clearly working. Now, a lot of times we'll do this. We'll go sideways, and then we may have a break. Now, it could just come down, in which case we may end up being in a range. But until we either start to come down and work into a range or we break above this, I have to only be thinking about longs just at the moment. Yeah, it's easy to slip. Emotions get the better here, and you hear about people making 5-6 points in something and it drops, and it can get you to change your focus a little bit. So I just hope I haven't offended anyone, especially Wook, because I class him as a buddy of mine. Yeah. I go for 8 ticks, but I do save a tick on how I drop it, so I'm only really going for 7. So it's only a tick more than Daniel and Marco trade. I think most people go for the 6 ticks now, I think. But what I will say is the good trades, the good setups, just generally go for way more. I mean, if you look at the Penguin guy, he never goes for less than 3 points. He always if he was going, from here, he'd usually wait for that to go, and it's not unusual to see him risk 4 or 5 points and still go for 1-to-1. So the good setups still make it, but obviously, I think it was Indy said to me, we all sort of develop our own style within Pats, if that makes any sense. And when I say style, some people, because Mackle mark high probability trades and high risk. Some people may go for more higher risk, but as you develop as a trader and you notice certain patterns, Mac will talk about second entry, something like that, second entry. And if you look at the Penguin guy, he looks at the bigger second entry. So if you have a leg up here, two larger legs, and then he'll jump sort of here. So he'll say, we've got a leg up here, we've made 2 attempts to go lower, and he'll go long from here with a slightly, wait for it to move a little bit. So just a slightly larger version, which I think is okay. No worries. I'm glad you're right, mate. Start moving away from Pats and following Penguin already. He does Mac's system. I've been in contact with Sania, as one can see. Sorry about the message on your chat. What message? I haven't sent a message. I just didn't want to offend you, mate, because you're one of the sort of guys that when I have a tough day, without fail, I get a message and I take note of it. So I didn't, I think when I was zooming and ahhing whether to stop them on the chat, that you're the one that was in my head actually. But I'm glad you're all right. But yeah, I mean, you've got to do your own thing, haven't you? If you want to move away from Pats or try something different, I absolutely get it. There's so many different ways to trade, and certain ways of trading might not. I mean, the thing about Pats is it's scalping. It's quite fast moving. It's quite stressful. And I get it if people maybe want to go a slightly higher time frame or slightly trades where they're not glued to it now. When I first started trading currency, we set a trade and we'd forget it for a few hours. We'd just walk away, and slightly less stressful. But there you go. So, yeah, I just didn't want to offend anyone, but I can find it. It's my fault for reading them, but sometimes when you're having a flick through the chat generally and you can't unread something, and I mean the trouble is he's saying short from 30 and then it comes down and it comes up, but obviously his style of trading, he'll have his points I think he uses a 3-point stop, so his sort of stop will be here, but if my stop's there and we're coming back. So it's obviously they're trading on slightly bigger, with bigger stops and bigger take profits, and it may well get down here, but obviously I can't, take something and sit there for 20 minutes while it's doing this. It's just more than my stress levels can handle. But they're nice guys, and I didn't want to offend them. I hope I get a message and I get a chance to apologise later when I see him. But I did think about blocking the chat really, but I kind of like the way we can all sort of get to know each other and help each other. Like what's it mentioned? It mentioned earlier about the channel. It's about helping each other. I might do something a different way. I had my channel drawn differently. It mentioned it. They got it slightly different. Was it JJ? I think it was JJ, wasn't it? And I changed it and it's better. So I hope we help each other. With maybe this is like, or try it like this, or try it like that. But see, I would be expecting to push higher from here, but I think Harjit trades levels with a bigger stop. Yeah. Cannot help. No. I mean, by all means, mate, get in touch with them and have a chat with them. I think they teach, don't they? So, you got to do your own thing, mate. It doesn't matter to me what you're trading. You're still a buddy of mine. You've helped me, and, I don't forget the times where people help me because they can get me out of some dark places. I had a bad day the other day. Same again. I always get a message from What. Always gives me a lift. See, sometimes I need a bit of a soft pep talk rather than something a bit harsh, especially when you've had a tough day, you know what I mean? But there we go, anyway. There we go. I hope I haven't offended him. In fact, they might leave a comment later and I'll apologise to him. Okay, so what is going on here? Up, up, up. Possibly a triple test, go lower. See, until we've possibly pushed higher, I can't think of anything else bar. In fact, my wife's just turned up. I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. Let me just put on there a minute. I'll give you a chance to have a chat amongst yourselves. 5 minutes. Missed that. There was nothing there really anyway. Just don't know there, but I still expect it to make a new high, and that looks like it's going to. Excuse me, just 2 minutes. I'm just going to make a quick phone call. Sorry about that. Okay, so we didn't quite make a new high. Maybe we're going to do it now. We'll see. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think the only thing I do as well is these liquidity levels on Bookmap. It just gives me, I still trade Pats. It just gives me a bigger picture where there is liquidity. So there is a strong amount at 32.5. So I do expect it to break this high. So I think it helps the fact that I know there's a lot of people taking profit up here and possibly selling as well. So it just helps me. It stops me getting trapped, if anything. There you go. So I'd still like to see it make a new high, but as I say, the trouble is you don't know when we look back at the end of the day. It may end up just ranging. It may just be the initial push up, hitting the top of somewhere and then the push down. So it's hard to say, but even so, after this, I'd still like to see it, although it is pushing up sideways, but it's still doing it in a channel. We went from here, touched here, touched here, touched here, touched here, touched here, touched here. And not only did it look good there, but from here as well. So this is a higher low. This is, let's see.
Order submitted.
If this finishes nice. Liquidity levels are just Bookmap. If you go onto YouTube and click Bookmap Live, in fact, I'm not sure about this one. Let's leave it there. Just click
cancel.
Bookmap Live and make sure you click the ES one. It just shows you where the areas of liquidity are. You'll see them in the bright colours, and there's a lot above here. There's a strong amount here. 32. Where are we? Sort of 32 to 35 here. There's about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, nearly 1,000 orders, sell orders, which I'm guessing is probably areas taking profit, or possibly above this. If it can break above this, you may put an order to sell in. Depends on how they. I'll tell you what I'll do quickly. I'll drag it in the pitch. Okay. I'd like a second entry there. I'm not going to take that one because it's close to these highs, although it's probably going to go up. I just can't bring myself to take that. I'll bring it in quickly. That's basically it there. So just click Bookmap Live and make sure you click the S one. Those big red areas there above here are where the areas of liquidity are. So and it just gives you a bigger picture of where people may be taking profits. It just helps you make a better decision. So there is a higher low there, but Mac doesn't class those as higher lows. Higher low would be sort of maybe this one, not necessarily a big push up and a pullback. That's a big push up and a pullback. So that's really more of a first entry than a higher low. Because the trouble is, it could trigger you and then come down and then make a nice second entry long. So I try and avoid those if they've pushed away. If we had a higher low here, then I may be interested in that. There we go. It's called a heat map. Yeah, it's the heat map, yeah. But it just shows you where the strongest area is. So what happens basically in a market, prices move towards liquidity. So these areas of where, so if I'd taken a trade here and I put my profit up here, that would show on that heat map as a lump of liquidity. Obviously a very small amount in my case. But also you've got to take into consideration aggressive buyers of the sellers that the market doesn't know about. Because if I click buy button now and I see something positive, I'm an aggressive buyer. So that affects movement as well. There we go. Second entry on the break. On about there. I'm not liking this. Do you know part of the problem is because I remember Harjit and Sania saying it's the best place to short was here, 2030, and talking about levels of 15 down here. So it's just, I don't know. I don't like this. It's not what I would call the cleanest of breaks, but I'm assuming that's what you mean. I'd rather wait for maybe a higher low here. Because the trouble is when it goes sideways, it can create so many traps. And unless it's a really good setup, I want to try and avoid it. Because what's more important now, that I take another decent trade. Can't be taking a loser one now. So we need a little drop down here and then something bullish. Because I still expect to hit those highs. We've actually made 2 attempts to go lower and they've rejected both of them. So I would expect to hit this high. So maybe we need to drop below here. Because there may be people who might take that higher low. So I can't get involved in the trading unless it triggers below there really. $500 orders. Yeah, 443 orders. Well, in this area here, there's over 1,000 orders. So, and we're much closer to this. And I'd say more traders will be thinking about making a new high after this. And at the moment, we've been going up. Obviously, 14.15 would take us down at some point. So maybe if we can break these highs. Yeah, trouble is, that hasn't triggered big low, and there's 3 bars back to back, which stands for congestion. So it may work, but it's clearly congested. Trouble is, sometimes it'll sit there for a while and go tick up, tick up, tick up, tick up, and people might go, oh, all right, I'll buy it, and then all of a sudden it'll come down and stop you out. I've sat and watched it do it. It'll like, go on, maybe go on a couple of ticks, come on, buy me, come on. And then all of a sudden, wham, it'll drop. Do I think that's going to go up? I'd say so, yeah, because it almost, I'd say it probably will, but like Max says, you get 3 bars back to back, it's congestion alarm bells. And it's not pushing quickly, is it? So it may be just teasing you to get in there. And sometimes if it's going up a bit, going up a bit, going up a bit, it starts to look like it's holding and it's not coming back. And it may well do it. But I find sometimes that just teases you. Sometimes I won't buy straight away. I'll see what happens. I'll maybe see it move a little bit and then I'll go, oh, now I'll buy it. And the second that happens, it comes back and stops you out. And I'd say that is exactly what that's going to do. It just almost teases you to get in. Come on, look, we're holding, we're moving up, we're moving up, we're moving up. Wait a minute maybe, and then all of a sudden, wham, take you out. Yeah, I'm not liking the price action at the moment. We did have a clear break, but it's very choppy. Yeah, there you go, see? Do you see how it didn't do it? And I've watched this many times. I said before it was happening, I've seen it loads of times because we've all been in trades where it ticks you and comes straight out. So we know those. But I've sat lately because I noticed, see, there is a possible second entry long here, but still very choppy. I noticed the Penguin guy, he'll wait for it to actually start to move. That's why he gets in with an extended stop, because he gives it chance to move and maybe let one bar break above it, which tells us, okay, it's not looking like it's going to trap. You with me? So I watch him more and more and I like the way he does that. So possible second entry long. I'm not liking this. So I'm not confident that we are going to get up there and break a new high, but until we do, I can't be thinking about taking shorts. But yeah, even though we had this break out of it, it's still just up down. It's choppy, isn't it? Yeah, I think the simple answer to this is just to stay out, let it sort itself out, wait for these types of moves. Yeah, see, 1, 2, 3, second entry long, triple test. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, good trades. I've seen Mac take doges, but it was relative. We came back, pushed up, closed above it, closed a couple of ticks from its high. I thought that might be okay. We've pushed up. We've come back once, twice, 3 times, and I thought we were at least going to make to the highs, and I was just going for 6 ticks there, but obviously market's got other ideas. I had my channels a slightly steeper angle, so even so, it's still tempting, even with the channel as it is, because a lot of times it doesn't get back over here. There's a possible second entry, but I'm not a fan of this. Trading this. If I want to take a second entry, I'd rather it sit on here with a big tail. Could trigger you and create a failed second entry long, so I have to leave that alone. Yeah, that's my plan now. Get back into the green. I think if you take a loss, it's extremely important your next trade is a good one. Because taking a loss makes a little dent in you. And then if you manage to get it back, all's well again. So I think it gets you balanced back nicely. Yeah, so there's 444 orders at 15. There's 393 at 32, but there's larger ones with it as well. There's a few near 300s. There's a lot more up here. So my understanding of it is stronger liquidity, price moves towards it. So I would expect to get up to these areas, in which case break that new high. It's just finding a decent enough setup to take you. You going away in the summer holidays? No, not this year. Not this year. Can't afford it this year. I'm concentrating all my, spare money and that into this. Although I am starting to get some payments. I should get one this month. I had two. I should get a $2,000 this month. Hopefully I had $4,000 last month out of them. So, fingers crossed. But no, it might be a couple of long weekends maybe. That's about it. Fed President Mary Daly will be interviewed on CNBC at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be careful. Yeah. I've got nothing on here really. Or is that it? No, that's tonight. I've got that at 11:45 my time. Okay, so that second entry has triggered. I'd expect it to work. I'm still expecting to make a new high, but it's just so choppy. I think it just adds to the risk. And the trouble is, when it goes sideways, it just creates so many traps. And I think unless a trade looks like a 10 out of 10, you've just got to stay out of it. See what's happening already, look. Pretty damn sure there's going to be some traders in there. Whether it comes down or not, I don't know. Trouble is, at some point, it may give up the ghost and just drop. And this may be it, to be fair. No, it won't be a stop loss because it's a sell order, isn't it? So if you're buying here, it's a sell order. So it won't be a stop loss. If I'm shorting, I don't know, I can't think now. But I know prices moved towards liquidity. So the trouble there, that's been there since we're pushing up here. It's not just appeared, it's been there for quite a while, that has. Yeah, it's been there for a long time. If you look back on the heat map, the line goes right far back. So it's been there for quite a while. Yeah, this is just looking far too choppy. Look, if you got in that trade as a second entry long, look what's happened. You're still in it about a minute and a half later and it's hardly moved, which has just got alarm bells all over it to me. That's what I mean. I don't know whether the market is struggling to get higher, or whether it is just going to come tanking down. Doesn't Matt usually say that? Michael props for doing this. I don't think I got the stones. No one can see me face though, can they? I'm still hidden. To be honest with you, it's helped me. It's helped me. I've done a lot less revenge trading. My trading just changed when I started doing this. So I don't mind it. I'm a thinker out aloud. I'm a talker and a thinker out aloud. See, it's still teasing you to get into this. It may well push up, make a new high from here, but I mean, it's clearly a second entry long, but it starts to go sideways then with some big bottom wicks. So it looks like it's moving anyway, but. I mean, if you took that second entry long, and I mean, I've seen Mac mark so many trades where it goes sideways and he still marks it. So maybe it doesn't really matter. So what would you, where would you be if you got, say you got one tick above there? So that's where my 2 points would have been. In fact, I'd have probably been a tick lower than that because there you go, straight away. If you'd have put it down there, you'd have been out of that. Yeah, I still expect, I mean, that's a nice bar there, and we may, in fact, do you know what I'm thinking? This is like one leg up, a two-legged correction, followed by another leg up to break all these highs. So that's what I predict is going to happen. And my predictions are relatively consistent. So that's what I'd say is going to happen. We've gone sideways, we've had a break out of it, gone a bit sideways, we made one leg down plus a second leg down, so we've got a push up, a two-legged correction, and I predict another push up to here. So now I dropped mine in, as you know, on top of there, so I'd have been out on that trade if I'd have stuck at it. It's going to push above anyway by the looks of things, but yeah. Okay, so that would have worked. So that second entry would have worked. Now, when it hits these orders here, it's probably likely, and in a lot of cases, it pushes straight through them. So leg up with a two-legged correction and another leg up. So if you took that one, it would have worked. I didn't like it because it's very choppy and it just adds that little bit of extra risk. But I'd say it's quite likely once we break these highs, there's probably going to be a lot of stops there. So if it does break these highs, I'd say it's going to do it with a little bit of a pop. That's if it can break the highs. I think it usually does at some point. I mean, fortunately, it's not a very deep channel, isn't it? So it's not like it's going to come back a lot of the times to push up. So I predict that's going to push up through there and hit that measured leg. And when it pops above any of these stops, especially that one, I can see it doing it relatively quick. And once it pops above there, it's going to hit that liquidity. Okay, quick pop there because there's probably going to be some stops there. But maybe a little pullback, but then it'll still go higher in my opinion and hit that. It hasn't picked off all those stops yet. There's still more up there. So if you took that one and even got out of the top, it worked like a charm. Yeah, drop out, a little bit of a pullback, and then that's where I expect it to hit. And hopefully it'll either go up or come down or do something. I think when we hit that, it should hopefully tie up all this little bit of ranging. Yeah, it took out some shorts, but I think the more experienced traders, their stops might be a little bit higher. We tend to put ours one tick above the signal bars. I would say there may be still some stops above there, probably a little bit higher. We'll see. But if we hit this area of liquidity here, I'd say then we'll pretty quickly hit this. Leg up, 2 legs of correction, leg up.
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
I think when it gets to here, it should move pretty quick then. Chris, Lance, the market is so slow today. You're not wrong, mate. Not my fault. Nothing to do with me. One of the few things I can't get blamed with. I think Max says, don't we get into these range or congestion areas for about, did he say 50 minutes or something like that? An hour or 3/4 of an hour? I can't remember. I've heard him say it before. A bit of a drop and then a push up. Yeah, so if he did short at that 30 level, expecting to get down here, it just didn't do it, see? Because obviously you would expect to make a new high out of this. I mean, it's clearly, I mean, yeah, it goes up sideways, but ranges do. But if you look, we start from here, we touched here, touched here, touched here, touched here, touched a few times here, and the tops 1, 2, 3 fit perfect. So it's more or less nearly as good as they look. It fits really nice. So I absolutely expect that to hit that. These are really accurate, especially the smaller ones. The smaller ones are more accurate. And with that liquidity area there, once it hits that, there may be a few more stops a little bit above, maybe here. If it does hit that, a combination of the breaking, taking a few more stops out and hitting that liquidity should then push it to here. That's if it does break. I mean, we have made a new high, so technically that trade has played out, although it be, excuse me, just by a tick. The trouble is sometimes it can flush down and take out, you know what I mean? If you went long there or long here because you think it's going to go higher, sometimes it'll do that. It'll just have a quick drop, take all these out and then go back up. But it has actually played out. So if we get a second entry long here, even if it looks quite nice, it's not something I can take because as far as I'm concerned, it has played out. Although I would like it to hit this area just you know, for my own pure curiosity, because the more accurate they are here, the more you get belief and it will just help you with your trading, I think. Yeah, went and did a spot of fishing last night. There's a lovely little carp pool just over a mile from my front door. Went there last night. Didn't do any fishing because I'm waiting for a couple of bits of items to come from Amazon, but there was a few guys down there. Beautiful lake, loads of little lily pads, and literally when I was there, the guy pulled out a 16-pound carp. So beautiful place. Sun was bouncing off it. I always used to have hobbies. I always used to do stuff. I mean, I did karate for 17 years. I've had flying lessons. I've did a bunch of skydiving for a few years when I was younger. I did some scuba diving. I've just done everything. I'm one of these type of people who don't like doing the same thing. I like to have lots of experiences. So I've always had some form of a hobby on the go. But since I started trading, it's all stopped. And I'm just thinking my stress levels, I'm getting regular stress and I can feel it from time to time, so I need to find ways of winding down. There's a new gym opens in a couple of months, a mile from my front door, 24-hour gym, so I've signed up for that. So I'm just going to try and get my mind clear, do some lift a few weights, maybe do a spot of fishing. You missed another good second entry. Where did I miss a sec? The only second entry I can see here is that one there. But it's very choppy and it's struggling to get there, and it's below the signal bar, so I didn't want to get in there. I deemed that as possibly a bit risky, so I left it. But I can't see another second entry here. There's nothing here. That's the only second entry I can see. There's nothing here yet. Possible second entry long here, but that hasn't formed yet. But we've already made a new high, so you have to be aware of that. And sometimes it can trigger you and come down. And if I take that second entry long and it ticks me and stops me out, and I post my video and someone would say, well, market range channel made a new high. Now, regardless of whether it's a tick or not, it has. And sometimes the market does this and sucks you in. And you take a trade and wham, it takes you out. So I'm trying to walk in light weights every day. It's so good for the stress. Yeah, I went through, we all do when we're younger, don't we? You go to the gym and think, I'm going to be a bodybuilder, and you last about 6 months and you give up. So I've probably done a few stints over the years like that, but I mean, I'm 54 now. As you get older, lifting weights supposedly is really good for you. Helps to keep those sort of bones and muscles strong. So, and it's good for aggression, isn't it? As I say, I did karate for 17 years, so I took my aggression out on pads and bags and people. But I ended up having 2 pieces of cartilage removed from both knees. Years of kicking fresh air knackers your cartilage, so I had to give that up. And I gave that up about 5 or 6 years ago. So that was my sort of hobby of choice. But I have got a row machine in the back garden, which I keep meaning to do up. It's one of the ones that's come from a gym, so it's a good quality one. It's just needs a new chain and a few other bits. I forget what they call them, the ones in the gyms. They're all the same. It's just different, yeah. Yeah, I did something called Wadaroo. Did it for 17 years. I did it because I hate exercise. But because of the history and the learning, the exercise sort of comes along for free, really. So but they use more pads and bags. And when I was doing it, they didn't. It was a lot of moving up and down, kicking fresh air, and over time, lots of kicking, lots of twisting as well. Adds wear on your cartilage. And I had the one knee done about 12 years ago. And I had the other one done 5 or 6 years later. Constantly kicking and stuff like that. And you get little bits tear and they float around your knee and cause a problem. So they just clean them out of it. But I did have a complex tear on one of mine. I actually did it when I was in the middle of a grading as well. So that took a while, actually. Took me about 2 years to fully recover, get full momentum back. It's the trouble with joints. As soon as you start messing with joints, it takes ages to get them back. But just experimenting with intermittent fasting. Yeah, I've had a go at stuff like that before. I went for a phase of, do you remember when everyone was juicing 6 or 7 years ago? I did a juice fast and I lasted about 17 days. I got up to about 15 stone. And I lost, in 17 days, a little over 1.5 stone. It just fell off. Just drinking green juices. I was drinking 2 litres of green juice, but it's hard. It's hard work. You've got to be, quite clear-minded when you do it because it's bloody hard, especially when you're seeing everyone else eat around you. But yeah, I've done the odd intermittent fasting. Sort of, there's different ways of doing it. You can do daily, can't you? Whereas you eat under 600 calories, isn't it, one day, and then you're going to eat what you want the next. Or there's all sorts of different things. Water fasting. There's all sorts of fads out there. But I put weight on quite. What I'm about now, about 15 stone, 15 and a bit now. But I'm quite tall. I'm an inch off 6 foot, and I'm quite broad anyway, but I'm quite thick built. But sitting on your arse all day long doesn't help. Because when you've had a stressful day, there's nothing nicer than sitting in front of the TV with the Chinese. Can you shout out a happy birthday to my wife? She's listening in the background. Sophie Crossland. Happy birthday, Sophie. How old are you? Do you want to tell me how old you are? Happy birthday. Have a lovely day. I hope you're taking you somewhere nice tonight. So, yeah, happy birthday, Sophie. I've had a bit of a cold lately. I'd probably sing happy birthday to you, but I might lose some subscribers. So, have a lovely day. I hope he's treated you to some flowers at least and a nice dinner out somewhere. So there you go. Any other requests? Just let me know. I'm quite happy to do them. You haven't found out how old you are yet. Are you a youngie or are you an oldie? 24. She's a baby. Oh, your life ahead of you. Oh, you lucky devil. 24. Wow. Oh, I wouldn't do to be 24 again. That's when I met my wife. 24. Oh yeah, that's where everything worked right back in them days. 24. Yeah, there you go. Happy birthday for Exponential Trade. Yeah, everyone's saying happy birthday now. 24. Oh, you lucky girl. Good for you. 24. Where are you from? Where are you? It's Kev, isn't it? Where'd you live, Kev? Where'd you both live? 24. Oh, I'd love to be 24 again. Your skin's so soft and you're 29. God, you cradle snatcher. Gosh, she's just a baby. You're a bad influence. You probably got in there and manipulated a lovely girl. Approaching a entry point, start an uptrend yesterday. Yeah, we're coming down. It's definitely gone into a range now, isn't it? Hopefully. We haven't made a new high, so we have to accept the fact. So it may come down or it may go up. We may have one leg down, 2 legs down, and then up again. Who knows? You're from Ireland. Oh, I thought you're from the US. What part? North or south? Let me know. I was actually born in the north. My father at the time was in the army. Sadly killed out there when I was 3 years old. So it's changed, I believe, now, Ireland. It's not like it used to be. I think it's changed anyway. So, but yeah, you're not far away. You're not far away. Worst weekend of my life in Dublin. Worst hangover. It was a 10.5 out of 10. I've never been that sick before on a boat in my life. Still brings back memories. I used to drink, well, I drink whiskey now, but I gave up for years after that night. We went on a stag do, started drinking Murphy's on the boat at 11 o'clock in the morning, at 11 in the morning, and finished at 3:30 in the jury's hotel the following morning. I have never been that drunk in my life. I've never been that sick in my life. I've never had that much of a headache in my life. Yeah, I'm only originally from Brazil. Met her here. She supports me on the trading journey. Good for you. My wife does as well, actually. Which is quite surprising because, as I mentioned, I've done every different hobby known to man. So whenever I, start something new, I usually get the raised eyebrows. And consider how much trading can cost you. Yeah, my wife does. It's nice if they do, but when you make things happen, you're gonna create a better life. You're gonna have nicer holidays, nicer cars, a lot less stress. All your bills are paid. Nice house. Yeah. Oh, so you're from Brazil, are you? Ah, fantastic. It's not a typical Brazilian name, Kevin, though, is it? Not what you would expect. I do like the look of Brazil, actually. It does look nice, Brazil. Isn't it quite dangerous there? Lovely entry there. What, here? There. I don't know, you can't go along there, mate, can you? I'd expect us to come down now. Let's have a look. We've still got a lot of liquidity at 53, so we may continue ranging for a while. See, after this push down, I would probably expect to come down a bit more. My family is Dutch. I was only born... Oh, I got you. Okay. I got you. I'm going to say Kevin isn't typically a Brazilian name, is it? Yeah, you can't take that really. Although we have a new low, but I'd quite likely, because it's held it there. I think we're probably going to come down there. What would you have got there? See, you wouldn't have made a point there. Well, that's unless it does push up. I think that's off the cards there anyway. So is Sophie stuck cooking your dinner, Kev, is she? Shouldn't be cooking your dinner on your birthday. Yeah, I hate trading this stuff. Do you know what? I remember watching one of Mac's videos a while back, and he said he loves trading ranges because he just shorts the top and buys the bottom. Trouble is, you can't short any of this, really, because it's counter trend trading. You can't short that because it hasn't made a new high. You can't short that because you don't know whether they're going to make a pullback and push higher. Yeah, see, if you went long there, you're going to get stopped out, I'd say. I'd expect that to at least come down the bottom. It may even come down. Now we've made a new high, see? You're having a takeaway. Excellent. What's your food of choice, Indian or Chinese? Chinese we are. We like our Chinese. In fact, I'm tempted. If you say Chinese, I'll tell you what, I'll leave it in the lap of the gods. If you say Chinese, I'm going to have a Chinese tonight. If you say Indian, I won't. There you go. Choice is out of my hands. Can't beat a takeaway in front of the TV. Nice bit of TV. In fact, I was thinking about watching that Top Gun Maverick again. I have watched it, but I might watch it again. I'll wait for everyone to go to bed, and then I might stick my earbuds on, connect them to the TV, and whack the sound up. Vindaloo all day. Oh, Vindaloo. I can't eat them in the morning. They just, Chinese, excellent. Thanks very much for that. Chinese is, I used to be able to eat Vindaloos when I was a bit younger. The trouble is they just rot my guts at night. I just lay in bed like that with that horrible churning thinking I'm going to die. My stomach can't take that sort of heat at the moment. I know my brother eats all that hot stuff. He grows all sorts of Dorset chilies, Dorset Naga chilies and all this. He's into all that hot stuff. I can't do it. Just tears me apart. Okay, so we're going to push down. Let's see if we make 2 attempts to go higher. Maybe get a second entry short. Trouble is, it's right in the middle of this chop, so... You guys love fish and chips. We've come on from fish and chips now, Sam. We're Chinese and Indian and kebabs now. Fish and chips is taking a back seat. Yeah, that's all we used to have. Fish and chips. Before the likes of, the Chinese and Indians came. So, well, I was just a baby in the 70s, but we were just a youngster. But we moved abroad a lot. We spent time in Germany, spent about 4 years in Germany, spent 2 years in Cyprus. So we, obviously being a military family, we spent a lot of time sort of moving and travelling. We were never in a place for longer than 2 years. Have I had... Right, let me say that. I think that's a berry, if I remember rightly, isn't it? And you say a bowl. I know they do those what's-it bowls, don't they, where they have like a bit of rice, a bit of avocado, a few sprouts, a bit of... So that's what they class as a bowl, isn't it? Is in acai. I think it's called acai. I believe it's a berry. It's quite expensive, but I've seen it in powder form because... We've obviously got a couple of juices in this house, and as I mentioned before, we've got a Vitamix. So in a lot of cases, we've had all sorts of stuff. Acai bowl is best Brazilian. Oh, is it really? Brazilian dessert? I'm pretty sure the acai is a berry, isn't it? It's a red berry, I think, because I've seen the powder. Because if we have a smoothie over here, I'll usually stick in a 400-gram bag of blueberries. I'll put in usually... I'll ram it full of excuse me, spinach. I always put some seeds in as well, some flax seeds or chia seeds or something like that. A little bit of water, maybe a couple of bananas and a couple of apples or something. But we do have some powders, some, what's the green algae stuff? I forget what it's called now, but we've got a couple of them. I've been down all that road before. I've, ASCII. I've grown wheatgrass in the past and all sorts. Wheatgrass, sunflower greens, buckwheat greens. I've sprouted all sorts, all manner of beans. We got leg down, possible second entry short. Trouble is, if that comes down here, that will say congestion. I don't know. I've done all sorts of stuff. I have sprouted. I've still got some broccoli seeds. I sprout some broccoli seeds once in a while. They're extremely good for you. Alfalfa, clove, radish, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, it's not... I thought we may have a push down and then a two-legged pull back T and then down again, but I'm not a fan of trading, especially right in this middle, because it can chop you up a bit. So we had that push down, didn't we? We had that pull back and another one. Push up, made 2 attempts to go lower and a push up. Pull down, 2 attempts to go higher, maybe down. Yeah, I hear that. I hear penguin guys say that a lot, and the more I see it, the more I get it. Like we had that little channel up, didn't we? Made 2 attempts to go lower, failure he calls it, and then a push up. Push up, 2 attempts to 2 attempts to go lower and a push up. I try to keep saying that to myself. Push up, made 2 attempts to go lower and up again. I do like the what's it guy. Oh, look at that, see? 2 attempts to go higher. Trouble is, you can't. That's a doji. You just can't go short there. Could do bloody anything. I know we just trade one a day, but zoom out and see the last 2 swings from yesterday. In fact, I did start the channel initially with yesterday. Yeah, I get what you're saying. The thing is, I never see Mac doing that, and I kind of don't know why, because it touches here, you know what I mean? I don't know why. I've never heard Mac mention that. And let me have a look. So we had that push-up there, we had a couple of legs down and the push-up. Yeah, I do sort of have a look sometimes and see if there's a leg from there to there, and then a leg from there to there, but I never hear Mac mention it, which is kind of strange. But I know exactly where you're coming from. But we could certainly do that. See, if it does continue higher, I think it's likely, touch here, that it may be extended. It may be like a two-tier channel. We had a couple of legs up, and we're clearly sort of working that section. Then we came across, and now we've been working here. So it could be a break and a new high. It's possible. I tend to leave that just until we've either gotten higher or come down, because at the moment I'm on the fence whether we're going up or down. Because that original channel, how we've had that, we obviously had a break of it, and we had eventually one push up with a couple of legs of correction, another push up, we made a new high by tick. So that has technically played out. Now, it doesn't mean if it continues higher, we're not going to extend this channel. But at the moment, it's just doing exactly what it's done for the last 2 days and pisses everyone off by just chopping up and down. Now, there is probably a lot of institutional guys taking their holidays. So I'd say that's probably got something to do with the maybe more choppier day. It's not a huge amount of volume. In fact, let's let me get see if Matt's got a video up yet. Should have by now. Oh, Melissa, I would like to have a date with you. Let's have a look. My name is Susie. I will be happy I found a guy that enjoys the hobbies. Yeah, look, there's my message from Susie. Go figure. Here we go. See us traders attract women. Okay, so we've had this channel down a couple of, I don't know what's going on here. It's just clearly choppy. You know, I'm starting to learn just to stay out of this. Just, it's not worth it. You just get chopped up. One moment of weakness and you're knackered. Right, let's see what Matt's given us. I'll be surprised if he hasn't got that channel. Okay, so he had it where I had it, which is strange actually, because I actually prefer it that way. That's how I initially had it, and that's how Max got it. So let's put it back. And he had a small break there. See, that doesn't look right to me. That's more right, in fact. But let me have a look. Yeah, see, Max got it like that. I don't know why. Because there's nothing confirmed at the bottom. That's surely if you're going to have it like that. I mean, it's by the by. We've had a break anyway, and we've had a new high. So I think it's maybe we just open that up a bit. Yeah. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! He's got that finish in there. He has. That's not right, is it? Oh, no, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. He's just got it more together like that. Oh, dear horses. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. He's got it like that. Right. Okay. Yeah, that kind of works, doesn't it? He's got it like that. And then that sideways. And then a channel there. Yeah, about there. So that's how Matt's got it. So that would make sense. Sometimes if you put these bigger channels, they can give you more of a biased you know, I'm thinking about going along here when we've clearly had a break and we made a new high there, so that's played out. So leg. Now we had that. He's got this. Let me have a look. There. Let's see. I think it's time to bring it out. Okay, let me have a look. Yeah, he's only just put it up actually. So he's got that. Those two big ones before a push up. Hold your horses. No, surely not. Yeah, Max got his there. Okay, he's finished here. There's a break there. Okay, so Matt's got his there. Now, I would probably argue now we've come down again. You've got to bring this down a bit, I think. So hard, isn't it? Should you put it there or what? Okay, let's leave it there. Touched a couple of times there, touched a couple of times there. Body finished there, doji finished there, touch there. It's not too bad. He's got this as a break and we've pushed back in. Okay, so we'll leave that there. It seems we're breaking again. So let me just put that there in case we make... Let's just open this up. Excuse me, just 2 minutes. I'm just going to go have a quick pee. That's not close to what Matt's got, isn't it? Let me just have another look. Sure he had it there. Let me have a look. I think it is. Let's have a look. Yeah. He's starting from here, isn't he? Here. It's touching here. Touching here. And we have that push down and this is where it closes out, yeah? So it is. And if you look at the top, he's got that little bit there. And then a push up and this bit here. And if you look, he's got this break, this little two pushes out here, which are there and there, and his now finishes here. So yeah, it's right, I think. You wrote before you chat. Ah, okay. Yeah, he's got it there, hasn't he? Well, to be fair, you normally do it on those first two swings, and if you look there, touch, 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 perfect, isn't it? When you think about it. And then obviously we have a break. The trouble is, I mean, obviously how the market develops later, you can adjust things, but in all fairness, I think it works both ways. I think it works as a larger trade as well. You know, just because Matt's got it that way doesn't mean it doesn't work other ways, you know what I mean? But obviously Mac's the best we've got. So, you know, I have decided to bring the 10,000 tick chart up as well, just to have a look, just to I used to have it, see what happens, but we've clearly had this push up and going sideways. Maybe just to give it a bit of picture. I know a few in the stream use it. I stopped using it, but thought I'll get it up, see if it maybe helps me see a bigger picture. Okay, so you could call this a failed breakout, but it hasn't triggered lower, and the EMA is facing down. We've pushed in, but not got very high, so we may possibly start to come down or come out lower, so I don't want to be going along there. Let's see if we have got some form of a bottom here. See, I kind of like that as well. Touch twice there, touch there. Maybe not. It's been horrible, isn't it, the last few days trading? I've got to say, it's been so much of this. I mean, we push up, chop, push up, chop, push up. Just low. I mean, look, since about what? Since market open. So what is that, an hour? Hour and a half? 2 hours? It's just sideways, up, down, up, down. It's so hard to trade. I mean, this is where you need experience, isn't it, of trading these. I mean, if you're experienced, it wouldn't surprise me. 2 legs, Mac marks that. Although it would have made the 2 points, not quite 2 points, but it would have done eventually. Yeah, I can't see anywhere else where Mac may take a trade. That one I looked at worked. I don't know, something just seems a little bit congested there, and that's what I mean. You don't know what you're doing in this stuff. It's so easy to just trigger you and then stop you out. I thought it was going to when it came down. It was just like a tick away from, well, yeah, a couple of ticks away. So we've had this leg down, a couple of attempts to go higher. I can see it's coming down some more. Personally, I can. There's a failure there. We haven't made this push down. 1, 2 attempts to go higher. Oof. As I say, I'd rather not take another trade, or rather than take a naff one, I've got to take one that's that obvious. Yeah, I like both channels as well. What I will say though, regardless of either, it's clearly broken out now and going sideways. So, and we've made a new high. I think that was the new high from this original channel. So the channel, whether it's that way or the long one, is played out anyway. So we're clearly just chopping along at the moment. Excuse me. So it's not going to affect the bigger picture, I think. Do you know what? You know, I've mentioned before about learning to trade, the revenge trade in that. I've mentioned that I think it's just something that takes time. And you've all heard me say, I think when you bang your head against a brick wall enough times, you realise it bleeds. Well, I put a post on a Facebook group, on the Max Facebook group. And a guy put this on, which I really liked. It made perfect sense. He got a tweet from somewhere. Where was it? Where was this tweet? He'd found. Oh, I took a photo of it. He found it somewhere, this tweet. And I really like it. It explains exactly the way I see trading. And it says, no book or tweet or coach will keep you from losing money, will keep you from losing more than you intended to. You have to get so sick to your stomach of making the same mistakes that you reach the point where you say enough is enough, then maybe you'll stop hurting yourself. I really like that. I'm going to print that out. Anything that I find gives me a lift or explains something, I tend to print. I'll read it one more time. So no book, tweet or coach will keep you from losing money will keep you from losing more than you intended to. You have to get so sick to the stomach of making the same mistakes that you reach a point where you say when you say enough is enough, then maybe you'll stop hurting yourself. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? That's what we do. We take stupid risks and stupid risks and stupid risks and lose money, and then sooner or later something just triggers and thinks this just isn't working. I'm sick of feeling like this. And I had a little bit of that about a month and a half ago, and I didn't revenge trade for a month, and I never went past a couple of days without revenge trading. So I had that little revenge trade a couple of days ago, and that was purely down till I decided to get too greedy and go for more points, and I ended up losing a few trades. So hopefully back on the horse. But I do feel like I'm getting closer. Okay, so a couple of legs down. That clearly didn't play out. We had a break, made a new low. Just not a fan of taking that. You could say that was a double bottom, but trouble is you really got to know what you're doing, and I'm not the best trader of ranges, in all fairness. Hence that. Let's hope so, mate. So let's hope so. The Sphinx, I like that. Sphinx. Did you trade yesterday? No, I didn't, mate. I took the day off. Although I wanted to, but I thought, no, I'd take the day off. So I just did a few things around the house. Went out to that fishing lake I mentioned yesterday. Just had a general different day. Did a little bit of gardening, just relaxed a bit, and just had a break from the screens. And I felt better for it today. I felt raring to go again. I got rid of that horrible frustrated feeling inside. So day off does work. Definitely good. I think it's if you're frustrated or angry, or you're still, I don't know, pissed off from what may happen the day before. And that's the bit I like about paying the one-off fees now. There's no rush. You're not paying a monthly fee, and you don't feel the need that you have to trade every day. You don't now if you want to take a couple of days off. Once you've paid your monthly fee, your one-off fee, take a week off, take a month off. If you don't feel like you're trading right or your head's in the game, you can take time off. You haven't got to pay anything extra, so there's no pressure. Yeah, okay, we've had this push down. We've made 2 attempts to go higher. I'm just wondering whether that would be a penguin type trade. Not only that, we've had a double top, haven't we? Let's see if that finishes. I'm not going to take the trade, but if that does start to move and closes below there, I wouldn't be shocked if penguin got in there. But we've had a break out the top and a little break out the bottom, so maybe it won't. It's good to have a day off. I don't take time off at all. In the last 2.5 years, I had about 4 days off. I had a real frustrating time a while back. I had about 4 days, 3 or 4 days off. Apart from that, I've just had the normal US holiday days off, and that's it. I've traded through Christmas, minus the Christmas actual, holidays where the market was shut down. Apart from that, I keep going. So maybe push down, maybe 1 test, 2 tests, maybe we're going to have another go, triple test. But normally you'd do a triple test, you would go in the way of the trend, wouldn't you? So maybe you could down. Are we going down? I don't know what we're doing at the moment. We could push up sideways and then another leg. I had a bunch of affiliates yesterday, quite a few of them actually. So if you use my link yesterday for the 8% off, muchas gracias, much appreciated. GAW 1.6 ATI, yeah, it has been really low lately. Will you trade your own funds when you've got some of? The way I feel at the moment, I'd say no, because I like the fact that I've made. I don't know. It doesn't seem like I'm still trading my money really. And I kind of like that. The trouble is, I'll be able to trade way more trading multiple accounts. If I'm trading 10 accounts, I'll be able to make more money than trading my own pot. I don't know if I get to the stage where I may be making 20,000 a month or something, which I would love to. Maybe later on down the line, I might trade a bit of both. I don't know. But I like the idea of trading Apex's money. I've made it from zero, really, so it doesn't feel like I've had to put any of my own money in, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. You don't know with time if I tend to make a ton of money later on down the line. Then maybe, I don't know. But if something goes wrong, I like the fact that it's not, all I've got to do is go onto the Apex site and click flatten everything and they'll do that for me. So I feel like I'm under the umbrella of a little bit more protection, trading with their pot. Obviously they're an experienced company. They foresee these types of problems that might affect the trader, because if I'm trading and they're copying one of my trades, obviously they stand to lose money as well. So I like the idea that it's their business to sort all this stuff. Same with the Rhythmic and Ninja Trader as well. Yeah, I don't see why you can't trade the NQ at the same time. I know if you're a currency trader, you'll be looking at multiple different charts. I suppose you could have the NQ on one screen and the ES on. Does anybody check? Have I asked that before? I might have done. Does anybody trade both at the same time? I suppose at least then you've got two options, haven't you? If you don't mind paying monthly fee plus 10%. Yeah, I don't. I mean, to be fair, you can make $25,000. Excuse me, before you pay them, but it's not a lot, I don't think. If you make $20,000 a month, you've got to pay them $2,000 a month. It's not a lot, but if you can make $20,000, you're clearly a competent trader. So I don't know, maybe you take a percentage of the money you make and start to build your own pot, because you can trade them at the same time, I believe. But if I trade, let's say I had 20 PA accounts, so realistically you're talking about $2,500 an account. So 20 of those, theoretically you're trading with $50,000, and that's having 20 of the $50,000 accounts. Effectively you've got $2,500 on each, haven't you? Multiple set. Yeah, I like the idea. See, if I want to, I can trade 10 contracts over 5 accounts. It's only 2 on each. If I trade 10 contracts with my own money, that's a lot of figures flashing. That's a lot of figures flashing through past your eyes, isn't it? It's so hard to trade this, isn't it? I mean, the beauty is if you can find one trade in a day out of all this shit, you make a nice living. One trade a day, 2 points, $200, $1,000 a week per account. Now let's say I don't know, that's $4,000 a month. Let's say you only make 2/3 of that, take away some losses, $3,000. I'd like to pay myself $2 a month, and then whatever's left, let it build. So eventually you can, start to scale up your contract size. So, so 1, 2, 3, maybe this is a triple test. I'd like it to break higher, so at least we've broken out of that channel, made a new high. But I don't know. See, the first time it struggled to get up and it came down. It's tried again, so if you blow up a funded Apex account, you don't need to pay Apex back. No. Oh, I trade a personal account, you do. Depends how controlled you are. If you've got a lot of self-control and you're comfortable with doing it, I think it's okay. As I say, maybe things will change. If, I get to the stage where I've been consistent for 6 months and I've made a nice salary every month, then maybe, But the trouble is, if you've already got your PA accounts, they're not costing you any more money. You might as well trade them as well as your own. Did you trade on Tuesday? Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. So you've had one touch. I class that as one. To be honest with you, I'd rather pull back than have another push before I think about triple test. There is still that liquidity up here as well, so I got no idea. And we've broken out the top a bit here, and then we've only come back in so far. But we did that there, didn't we? We only came back in so far and came out down a bit more before we pulled back in, so I got no idea what's going on here. If we can get that type of setup, clearly 2 legs with a nice big bearish bar, then that might be something that may interest me if I can get it on here. But it keeps breaking out the bottom and then pushing back up. It was nice Tuesday. I can't even remember what happened Tuesday. Tuesday. I can't remember. I think that was the day, actually, I decided to go for 4 points. First trade I lost. Would have made me 2 points. Second trade I got out break even. Would have made me 2 points. So I had those couple of losses, and then I finished the stream because I said I'll stop streaming. Then I sat and just watched the market, and I ended up getting a trade later on. So you only pay fees. Yeah, you can pay the one-off monthly. That's what I do. It's $140 on my PA accounts, and that's it. It's just a one-off fee. You don't pay anything else. So once you've got your accounts, you might as well use the money in there and trade, I think, because if you've got a ton of money in there and you take it out, you're paying them 10% of what's in there, aren't you? So you might as well trade your own at the same time, I think. Okay, so a little channel break. Let's see what happens here. If that drops and ends up bearish, that could be a triple test, but it's just very dangerous. See, that channel is at a break in a new low. That channel is at a break in a new high. I like trading with Apex's money, I do. It doesn't feel quite the same as trading your own. I did when I first started, I traded my own and I lost a chunk of it. I stuck about £3,000 in, which was about, I don't know, $3,700. I lost it all in a month. In fact, probably less than a month. I felt physically sick. That's the trouble when you put your own physical money in. With Apex, you haven't really physically put money in. All you've really done is pay for your evaluation and your PA fee. Excuse me. You haven't really had to put any money in, so it doesn't feel like it's my money. So but yeah, I mean, you can do an evaluation. What does it cost you? $33. If you pass it, you pay $140 PA fee. And then you start building the account. Once you get above 2,600, you can withdraw 2,000 if you like. So even if you do that, you pay 33, you pay 140, you get it to 2,500, you withdraw 2,000, then you see if you can, see if you can make any more. But if you can trade and you can make money at it, you might as well. Okay, so leg up. So I don't know whether we're going to move higher eventually or what. We'll come down. Let's have a look. So we could have a push up and a break, a bit of sideways. We could have another leg. See, there is liquidity up here, and there's also some down here. So at the moment, who knows? I wouldn't like to say where we're likely to go. As we've already had a push up and sideways, I'd say it's more likely we're going to push up, because we often have this, don't we? A push up, bit of sideways and a push up, but it's only maybe, I don't know, maybe 60-70% we're going up. But every time we get up here, we're dropping, so it may just continue to range for a bit. So we've had a chat. If we can get above here and then drop nice and bearish, trouble is, I'm going to say we've had a breakout, but we had one here and it's still dropped. If we can push above here and finish nice and bearish, then I may consider a short. Let's get one ready just in case.
Order submitted.
I am aware of this liquidity at 32, which has just sucked up some of it. It would be a second entry short. We've had a channel break and a new high. Every time it comes to here and we get something bearish, it comes down. Every time we hit a top here, came down here, came down here, came down here, came down. If you picked anything above that line, it came down. So I'd like to hit that liquidity, or a little bit more of it, and then have a quick drop, in which case I may consider a short. Okay, I like the fact that that's hit that liquidity now. If that finishes bearish, I'm going to take that. Because every time it's broken above here and finished bearish, it's come back. See what this bar looks like. If it stays like that, I might take that. It's quite a nice big... Okay, so... see if it ends up like that. I think that's worth a trade. Ooh, not sure about that one. No, it's not good enough.
Order
cancelled.
cancelled.
Finished on its low like that one, I'd take that 100% because I think it'd be worth it. One leg, two legs, big bearish bar came down. You got your 2 points there. If you didn't, you eventually got it. That's just a little bit more risky because there is some more liquidity. 33. So it may go a bit higher. How many times is that? Still like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's got to stay there. Shame, actually, if that was nice and bearish, I'd have 100% took that. Channel break, new high. Second entry short. What happens if you lose first few trades on Apex? It doesn't really matter. You get a drawdown of $2,500. So you've got to lose $2,500 without winning some back. So if you lose $500, you can make $500 back and your drawdown will still stay in the same place. So you've really got to lose $2,500 on the trot, like lose 1,000, lose 500, lose another 500, lose another 500 before you hit your drawdown. But and if you fail, you fail it. You cancel it. But they're $33 at the moment, so it's not a lot of money really. It's about as cheap as it gets. They do have the 90% off once in a while. I think they've had probably, I don't know, 2 this year, I think. But $33 is not a lot really. It's a good bit of experience, and if it works for you. But if you've traded before, I'd say absolutely do it. If you can trade, although you trade your own money, I'd say do them as well. You can trade up to 20 accounts. You can trade your own account at the same time with the same trade copy. Okay, so do you know what I think might be happening now? We may end up, possibly, ending up having something like this. So you've had this leg up, a little bit of a break and up, sideways, a couple of legs down, and now push up. That looks like a bit of a correction. I wouldn't be surprised if you work into a channel now, just from seeing it happening, you know, a lot of times. Possibly. So we've hit those liquidity levels. There is more at 35, and there is some further up, around about up here somewhere. So if we can get a leg up and a 2-legged correction, I'll be looking to go long again. So we've clearly broken above all this before, so I'd say, let me get rid of that. We're starting to trend higher now, I think, unless I'd like it to come back and retest this top and then push higher, but I would say I think there's a good chance we're trending up now. So we may have another leg. So liquidity levels, there is some up here, and there's some up around 54. Right up here. So that would correspond. So let's have a look. So it is possible we could have something like this, and then something like that. That would make sense. Push up, sideways, push up. I wouldn't be shocked. We see it so many times. Push up, sideways, push up. It's almost like a leg, a bit of a correction and a leg. But in fact, I'll leave that there just in case. So that starts there. Let's put that around about there. But yeah, liquidity levels there, and in fact that's been taken now. So there is more at 35. So for me, I'd say I think the chances are of us working up. I like that channel, but I would expect to break it and then make a new high and possibly move into a wider channel. And it is possible we could come back into the range, so I would like to see it maybe 2 legs down and bounce off the top. But it's working kind of nice in there now, so see what happens. 55. Yeah, I've just marked that up here. Well, out of screen. But the frustrating thing is, the way the markets are now, a lot of times it'll just keep going up and not give you an entry, really, with it being so far from the EMA at the moment. But when we get this, I often see Mac taking second entries here, quite far from the EMA. Well, I find it uncomfortable doing that, I would rather wait for a break. But sometimes you lose a big move then. You know, if that thing's going to move up another 8 points, if there is a second entry long there, but it's there, but the fact that it's further away, I see Mac take them all the time. It seems after 8:30, PC News starts going up. Yeah, it's certainly looking like it. Those stronger liquidity levels will start to appear up here now. But we need a decent setup. It needs to be a second entry long. And the trouble is, half the time it just continues up and doesn't give us an entry, so it's flipping frustrating. So there's that, and there's that. That's why I like using Bookmap, because it does give you areas where there's take profits up here. This is where their take profits are going to be. You're not going to be putting us. You're not going to be shorting up here. Your short takes out your buy order. So, you know, there's some here, and there's quite a chunk up here. So, you know, you can have some experienced traders thinking, okay, you know, maybe on a bigger time frame, we're clearly working up, and that's where they may chuck an order in down there or here earlier on in the day and leave it there for till the end of the day. But obviously we're trading a smaller time frame, and it's trying to find an entry in a channel like this. Trouble is, I feel out of my comfort zone taking them, but I often see Mac taking them here. If it's a second entry and it's on the key entry point, I'm sure I heard him say somewhere, the channel key entry point is more important than the EMA. I thought it was the other way around, but I used the channel as the key entry point. But exactly. I just didn't see that when I was saying that, but he does. And this is clearly quite a nice trend working here. So if we had a break above here and a little drop and a bullish bar, then maybe it's worth going. But what I will say is the ATR is very low at the moment. So hopefully if you did take a trade in there, the risk could be small anyway. But as long as it's a really nice solid looking bar and it's a second entry, sometimes you've just got to go with it. But I would like it now it's broken off here, maybe to have 2 legs down and retest this, and then push higher, and then that would turn into a bigger channel. Same sort of thing, you know, we had that initial push up bit of sideways, and then we had a channel, didn't we? And then we had that type of channel working there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, channel is okay. Yeah, I thought that for some reason I had it in my head that the EMA is more important. I heard Max say that the channel is. And I thought it was the EMA, because the EMA is like a magnet. It always comes back to the magnet, doesn't it? But there you go. So yeah, I mean, if we had a second entry and we had a bar like that, you'd have to go along, wouldn't you? Trouble is, that's not a second entry, is it? It's a first entry. As much as if it finishes bullish and on here, it's probably going to go up. But okay, so we may, we do this often when we move out these range in a channel, we come back and retest the top. I only hope when we do it, we have a nice entry. Yeah. To be NQ day for me. This could be the start of something beautiful. I may end up putting the I mean, like Max says, the price action works exactly the same on any chart, and indeed any time frame. So he says. So if you use the 2000 tick chart on the the NQ, there's no reason why you can't trade the two at once. I mean, if there's nothing here, you can keep an eye on that one, couldn't you? And maybe trade the two at the same time. Second entry long off the top of the range. Yeah, if we can break above here and get a bounce down, that's what I mean. A lot of times when we see these things, they have a little bounce off the top, sort of retest it before they push up again. That's why I mentioned earlier we may move into a slightly bigger range and have one leg up and another leg up. But unfortunately, at the moment, we haven't broken above anything yet. I'll tell you what I'll do, just out of curiosity. I can see these liquidity levels. I'm just going to get rid of a bookmap for a minute. And let's, the trouble is I've got to shut that down, haven't I? Duplicate window. Let's put it up here. In fact, no, I'll tell you what, let's get rid of that. I've got the one above me. Sorry. New flowpots. Alright, let me get that back. Because I know sometimes if you open another screen, it opens another replicanto. So 24. That one. 25. Pre-allocated. That's 2. That's 2. That's 10. Okay, 24. Yes. Okay. Trouble is, not a second entry. That's the frustrating thing. It's alright, I've got this 10,000 tick chart. I'm just going to open this up above my head and put the NQ and just have a little nose at it, that's all. No reason why you can't change both, is there? So I'm assuming if you change the NQ, trade the NQ, do you still trade a 2,000 tick chart on it? No harm in keeping an eye on it, is there? Seeing what it does. Let's have a look. So it'll just be NQ 9th 23, yeah? Loading. Oh, I got it. Yeah, it's not overly different, is it, actually? It's very similar. I didn't realise how similar it would be. Let's just drag it out. Let's just, yeah, it's just there's a lot less chop on it. Yeah. So look, it's similar, isn't it? So I'm taking that's right, is it? 923 NQ 2000 tick chart. I'm assuming you just trade it exactly the same. Okay, won't hurt. See, perhaps you'll get a setup. See, you know, sometimes if we got a nice trend and we don't get a 2 legs down here. Oh, look at that. Sort of knew that was going to do that, didn't we? If you don't, maybe you won't get a second leg here, but you might get a second entry on the NQ, so it makes sense, doesn't it? What? So, just answer me a quick question. Does anybody trade the both or have the both charts and may trade one at a time? 2000, yeah. So do some people trade both? There's no reason why you can't. If you don't get a setup on one, it makes a change, does it? It's not, you know, it makes sense to trade them both. And I'm assuming, I know the point system's slightly different, isn't it? I'll have to look into this because if one's not working, maybe the other one might do. It's worth a look, isn't it? There's no reason why you can't look at both. Just have a quick glance, and if you see something possibly setting up on one that's not on the other. See, at the moment on the NQ, we're away from the EMA, but we're here, so you'd be looking at this one, wouldn't you? It's looking for a second entry here. MNQ. Am I done it wrong, have I? I'll just put the NQ. See, trade. What's the MNQ? Is that the micros? Isn't micros MNQ? Yeah, see, I'd say that's likely going to make a new high, but it's not a second entry, although it's a break and a lovely big bullish bar. sat on top of here, so I think the chances of that pushing up to at least here is quite high, but NQ is very risky. How come it's risky? MNQ's micro. Why is the NQ risky? Accountability King, how are you doing? I haven't spoken to you for a while. How are you doing? I switched from ES to NQ, but I have both of them on my screen. I trade 1,500 tick NQ charts, but I have the ES for 2,000. I keep floating, but interesting. So you trade the 1,500 tick. What's better then, the 1,000 or the 500 tick on the NQ? Well, let's have a look. 1,000 on the NQ. Let's have a look. Okay. It's just a little more to it, isn't there? I'll have to have a play around with it. There's no reason. I mean, you can trade Pats on exactly the same thing, can't you? It makes no difference. All Pats is really is the strategy, really. So interesting. I'll have a little look at the point system. I'm under the assumption NQ can move very quickly. Oh, well, what I'll do is just for the next week or two, I'll just keep it on a screen above me. I've got a spare screen and I'll just see how it does move. There's only a couple of areas where I could see. Once very early this morning and once where that news was. Apart from that, it looks relatively okay. 500, 1,000. Shows more clearer. Failed second entries and 1,000. But okay. Interesting. Well, I'll put it on me and just mark it up from time to time, as well as looking at this. The thing is, if you don't get a setup on one, you may get one on the other. At least then you've got two options for making money, haven't you? And the point system is what's the point system? Because it's showing what are each point and tick? Do you know? Yeah, I'll keep it above me, and I'll just have a scan of it, and I'll see how I feel about it. But yeah, it operates somewhere similar, doesn't it? Okay, so that's the 1,000. Let's try the 500. I don't follow Pats. Can it also be used for the NQ? What, Pats? I've heard Max say multiple times you can trade it on any market at any time frame, apparently. He just happens to pick the what's it. If we can get a two-legged correction here, then I might be interested in going long here. If we can retest this, that's a second entry short. We hasn't broken the new highs yet. Remember I said it looks like we may start to push higher, in which case we may end up in a slightly larger. So one leg down, two legs down. It does look like a channel up with a two-legged correction. Interesting. Pat system can be used to trade any market. Yeah, I believe so. Oh, that's interesting. Because sometimes you'll sit here. Now, if I look at the NQ, let's look at the NQ on the 1,000 tick chart. We've had none of this sideways crap. It's been choppy, but not as much sideways stuff. So while it's doing this, you could be glancing at the NQ as well. It's nice to have two options, because I know when I've scalped currency before, I've been looking at about 4 different time frames. 4 different multiple currency pairs. NQ candles fly through points. If you compare ES, one candle is like 2 or 3 points. It will be 6 or 7 on the NQ. So, Kev, can you change the tick chart so it'll make them smaller? If that makes any sense. Leg, 2 leg. Pushed up, made 2 attempts to go lower. If we can drop below here and finish bullish here, I'm going to go long there. It's worth looking at anyway, because you've got two options then. So sometimes if you might get a tough day on here, you know, some days you'll get set up, some days you won't. But it'd be nice to be able to look at the both. I kind of like the idea of that. If you compare, yes, one candle is like 2 or 3 points. It will be 6 or 7. Oh, I see what you mean. But aren't the points less value? Does that make sense? Let's have a look. If I pick an average one, 33 to 41, 6, 7.5 points. Okay, yeah. So yeah, one bar's 7.5 points. So I'm pretty sure. I'll look into it. I'll look into it over the weekend. I'll have a play around, but maybe you just trade one contract in here. But I'm pretty sure the points are less, aren't they? Something like $20 per point or something, which would make sense, wouldn't it? Because it's $50 a point here. So if bars are about twice the size, yeah, the ATR's 6.82, so it's like 4 times the size. So I'll look into it. 20 per point per contract. Okay. So yeah, it's still a little bit more risk, isn't it? So I don't know, maybe no, if this ends up bullish, I'm 100% having this.
Order submitted.
We've pushed out. We've made 2 attempts to go lower. Please take me. Come on. Come on. Oh,
Order submitted.
I've gone for a bit more risk than I wanted to there. So what am I on? 33, 34, 35. 3, 4, 5, 2 points. Come on. 2 points. Come on. Hit that liquidity level. It's made a new high. That's what's concerning me. So what I'm going to have to do is get in for a point. Come on. I'm going to have to go for 6 ticks. It's probably going to go higher, but 6 ticks is better than nothing. There we go, 6 ticks. Beautiful, beautiful. It may go higher, but yeah, you see how it took off? It took off because it's a bloody good trade. That's the best we've seen. So that's good news. At least I'm back to... Oh, no. Oh, that's frustrating. I had an evaluation. My evaluation was $1,500 up. I lost that trade and lost $1,000 of it, and I didn't select it when I took that trade. Oh, that's frustrating. Okay, that was a really nice trade. Now, not a massive... I had a feeling it was going to take off, and it did. I had to move it up 2 ticks. But I got 6 ticks out of that, so I'm more than happy because that was a beauty. We'd had a channel up there, made 2 legs of correction and a push up. We clearly broke the new highs. So how much was there to the... let's have a look to the new highs. So there was... Yeah, if you'd have put it there, you'd have got 6 ticks. And in all fairness, I mean, I've got a feeling we're going to push a lot higher. I'm just trying to judge mine. Now, obviously, I got it a little bit late there, so the sensible thing to do would be to take 6 ticks. Much better to take good 6 ticks and get a guaranteed $150 than end up getting a bit too greedy and trying to go for more. So 2 points is always my choice now, unless there's less room to the highs. Now, we've had a channel up here. We've made a 2-legged correction, so we've made 2 attempts to go lower, so I would say that's likely to push up. But in so many cases, and you've heard Max say this, it knows if you've got a runner, you'll move your stop to break even, and what happens? Or break even plus 1, what happens? It comes down, takes your stop out, and you hear Max say that all the time, and then it'll probably carry on up. So this is where I think runners sort of fault a little bit. Sometimes you're wondering whether you're better off drop a tick or 2 back on a runner. But I really like that one. Nice channel up. Lovely two-legged bat. That looks like a perfect measured leg. Lovely second entry long. Tested that top right off the key entry point. That was a beauty. That was. That was the trade of the day for me, and I'm happy to get 6 ticks on that one. I just didn't want to be greedy because I came in, see how I dropped it in and it moved up a tick and moved up a tick. That wasn't coming back because it was such a good trade. So sometimes you've got to chase them, even by a tick or two. But yeah, I'm pleased with that anyway. It's just a shame about that one. What I should have done is left that one. It just looked like a triple test. If that was a really strong bullish bar, then maybe it had got to the top. But I should have left that because it probably wasn't quite good enough. But it's. I don't mind making these mistakes sometimes because I've seen Mac taking those. And in all fairness, in an uptrend, something like that would probably work. But we're clearly going sideways. But there you go. Sod's law, isn't it? But I'm just happy now. I've managed to muster the patience and wait for a nice setup, and I played it just nice. +6. Sorry, 1.5 points. Yeah, I'd say that is likely to push higher. Yeah, see, if I'm looking at the NQ now, there's nothing on the MQ setup, so maybe it's a good idea to look at both. Normally, you lost when you hold on too long to get 3 points. Yeah, I mean, it might get there, but you know me, once it starts going sideways, you know, I've only been doing, trading 2.5 years. If I've got $10,000 in 10p accounts, then I'm probably going to have the confidence to sit there. But as I'm building them, once that starts to come back, I'd have probably shit myself and got out for a tick. Personally, the way that looks a channel up, I'd say it's likely to go higher. Reason being, as I know there's strong liquidity levels up here, and I know we've had the push up and we've gone sideways for so long. It's made quite a few attempts to go lower, and now we've pushed up in a really nice channel out the top. Made 2 lovely attempts to go lower, failed, and a really nice. I mean, that's a perfect Pat's trade. That is 2 perfect measured legs down, nice correction. But do you remember I mentioned a while ago? What I think is going to happen now is we're going to end up making a wider channel. So that's what I think. And I like to make these predictions. It just means I'm understanding the patterns that I'm seeing again and again. So the fact that I'm only, $65 down, I've got no issues with. Sometimes you're going to get a few more points. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll get the full 2 point, but I'm all right with that. I can deal with that. Which is why I mentioned earlier, it's incredibly important that if you do take a loss on your first trade, that the second one isn't a loss. Because if you lose 2 in a row, that messes with your head a little bit. Hopefully we get a triple test. Yeah, maybe. I'd say it's kind of likely going to push higher. Because we have got these. Yeah, I'm going to look into that over the weekend, the NQ. I don't think there's no problem in trading the 2. You can trade Pats exactly the same on both of them. But you might not get a setup on one, and you may get one on another. So, in fact, if you're looking at NQ now, 1000 tick chart, you're getting what's looking like a nice second entry long. I'm clearly just looking at the moment. I'll look into the point system and work out whether I'm better off, trading maybe just one contract on that. But if it's the opportunity to have the chance of making, your trade a little bit easier, some days, I don't deem there's a good enough trade. So maybe it might be nice to, trade the 2. Yeah, I mean, if you got in that, if you put a buy order there or a market order there, 1 tick above there, I think you'd have got the 2 points, wouldn't you? No, you wouldn't have done. So that was out of the 2 points. Now, in all my honest opinion, look what's happening here. We're clearly working, aren't we? And I think we will, because there is these strong liquidity levels here. Now, we've come back and retested this twice, which is telling me it's not coming back in the range. So the only other place for it to go really is up. And if you look, what I would likely say is come the end of the day, there will more likely be something along the lines of that. Now, wouldn't surprise if it gets up to these liquidity levels, which'll push up here, maybe down a bit, maybe up. But I'd say that is going to be quite likely what it might look like come the end of the day. But we've had a push up. We often get it. We have a push up. Can't keep doing it. So a lot of the times we'll just go sideways, and then eventually, look what we'd happen. We've got right down, probably 1, 2. We've tested this line 3 times now, haven't we? See, so perhaps that's when things move up. So if you did take that, clearly it just rammed straight through that liquidity area. So I would say we are likely now. Let's have a look. Look at that, beautiful. That's for me now. So we've touched 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So I'd say, what happened to 12:30? 12:30. I don't know, you're talking to me, but are you? Yeah, so I'm really pleased with that. That's just lovely, that is. Really nice trade. Beautiful second entry long in the perfect place. Nice and bullish, and look at that, wham. Pushed up really strong there. And when it started to move, that's why I inched towards it, because I thought I'm going to miss this and I don't want to be sat here all day, which is why I reduced my target. But there was no issues anyway. It's clearly going up. And I wouldn't be shocked now if this continues up now. Yeah, it's doing exactly the same on the NQ, actually. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, Stefan, what time frame are you trading on the NQ? I've just put 2000 tick chart, and it's looking quite similar to the 2000 on the ES leg up. We've got a bit of sideways, a little bit of down, and it's got the same, not quite sideways, but more 2 legs of correction, and then a push up, break, another push up, and then another 2 legs of correction, and we'll same sort of channel. We're moving up here. Yeah, so if I'd have left that one earlier, I'd have been one up. Because that is about as nice as trade as you can get. That was clearly trading. We're getting less and less like that. We may get one of them a day if you're lucky. 1 and 5 minutes. Oh, okay. I suppose everyone has their own way of doing it, don't they? 1 and 5 minutes. I'll look at the 5 minutes. Oh, 5 minutes looks scary. Some big wicks on the 5 minutes. I'm assuming 2 minutes. It's going to look similar, isn't it? Interesting. Yeah, so ATR's 10.5 on the 2 minutes. Let's put the 2000 back on. It's still large, so I think the ATR's 10 and it's 20 a point, so that would make the ATR about 6. So you would have to trade just 1 contract, I think, to have the same sort of effect as this. Now, I'm just wondering whether this is now actually going to go into a spiking channel. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say that is a spiking channel. From here, touch, 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 hopefully. Slightly more, maybe. Yeah, okay. It's just I noticed it was going at a slightly reduced angle. So, touch, 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 touch. Yeah. Now there's your new low there, so that could be a failure. I'd rather let it start to push up a bit further. Fifteen minutes looks better than 5. Yeah, because the ATR is much bigger. You'd have to reduce it, wouldn't you? I believe it's $20 a point as opposed to 50, so it's a little bit less than half in it. So that would make the ATR maybe about 4.5, which is still double what it is here. So you probably reduce down to one contract, and you would get the same sort of effect. 15 minutes. Excuse me. Yeah, still that's scary. And the ATR's 22. Too rich for my blood. Let's keep it at the 2000 tick. It sort of looks very similar. I'm not going to trade it yet. I'm just going to watch it for a week or two, maybe. Find a little bit more about it. See if any others trade multiple ones. I don't think there's no reason why you can't. The trouble is there's so much just sitting waiting in areas that you can't trade. When it's doing this, you just can't trade it. So there's a lot of sitting around waiting. So looks like 2 legs up already. Might want to be careful. Oh, well, my legs would from here to here, so that's why I said I'd like it to push up a bit further. But if I'm going to take a leg, I would probably go from something like that, 2-legged correction to that. So I'd expect that to get up to there. And I know there's some liquidity levels up there, so I'd say that's where I expect it to go. So if it can get a little bit of a drop here, there's a possible second entry long. And it would be nice to get 2 in one go. It's clearly touching there, isn't it? Touch, 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 touch. If we can get a bit of a drop. Because we've had this leg and 2 attempts to go lower, I'd expect another leg which is up to here, which is up to 39. Now I know there's strong liquidity and here. That's a second entry long. Now you can take it at the same level. It doesn't have to be a tick lower. Anybody interested in that if it finishes bullish or not? I prefer it to tick lower, but I've watched quite a few traders. I know what's his name from Top Pick Trading, Taylor. He'll say I prefer it to tick lower. Get an order ready.
Order submitted.
I'd just much prefer it to tick lower. No, if I'm going to wait for it to push a bit higher first. If it does continue up, then maybe I'll get interested. There's a new low. So what it is, it's also a failure. I can't vote the bar finishes in naff anyway. Trouble is, like you say, Mac, this is a key entry point as well. I don't know it's going to finish bullish anyway. fact, this probably could be even less steep, couldn't it? Not sure about that. Sometimes you've got to let it go a bit higher before it reveals itself a little bit. Didn't work out anyway. This might be a better one. Leg. Yeah, if it drops down here a bit and then pops up bullish, maybe interested. Let's get one ready.
Order submitted.
Leg down, break, leg down. Micro, break, new low. If this ends up bullish, excuse me, I'll take that. Hopefully it stays a small bar as well. It's only 4 ticks at the moment. Be careful for longs here. I hate it when I read these comments. It's a small risk anyway so far. It's only 4 ticks, 5 ticks, say it. 6 ticks. It's off the key entry point. It's off the EMA. It's a second entry long. It's just there's 3 side by side now, isn't there? Maybe take a higher low, eh?
Order cancelled.
It's going to finish dodgy anyway, I think. Yeah, I wouldn't have took that anyway. It's about 1 tick off a doji. Probably still push up, I'd say. Who knows? It's a little bit congested there, and 1 tick lower, it's a doji. I'd say it's probably still going to push up because obviously it's bouncing. You got 1 push there, 1 push there, 1 push there, 1 push there. I'd say it's likely to push higher. But I can't do it on close to a doji. When you say be careful long, Stefan, are you talking about NQ or ES? Or both, I'm assuming. Yeah, see the channel on the 2000 tick chart on the NQ is even clearer than this one. But it's still looking a little bit, what's it? I'd say it's slightly, I mean, it's held 3 times above that line. We've come down, pushed off the EMA, so I'd say it's likely going to push higher, but it is getting a little bit slow and sideways, which is always a little bit alarm bells, like Max says. We got 3 back to back. We've clearly got 3 there. I mean, the bar's naff anyway. It's close to a doji, is 1 tick off a perfect doji in it. Strong. Yeah, I know a lot of people will put, a lot of traders, and I've done it when I was trading currency. You expect it to drop here, so you may put an order down here. But this style of trading with Max, we wait for a decent signal bar indicating that we've come down and buyers are pushed up, because if you do just drop an order in here, it might continue down, or it might pop up a bit and come down, whereas you can clearly see that one's pushed up nice and strong and finished on its high, and you can clearly see, so that's what we tend to do. But I know a lot of traders will drop orders below here. You know, if they're in a range, they'll just maybe put a sell order a few ticks above this, and, you know. Whereas we don't tend to operate that. We tend to wait for a signal bar like that. Nice second entry short, hidden second entry short. Clear 2 legs, nice and bearish, pushed up, closed below. Obviously that came down for points, but I think I'm going to finish in a minute, guys, anyway. What time is it? I usually just do 3 hours. I've done a little bit over today. But I'm quite glad anyway I waited for that nice setup. Trades like that just work all day long. I can't remember the last time I saw a good quality trade like that fail. They just don't. Unless there's some sort of news event or something goes wrong. So I'm down. Takeaway fees about $65 on the accounts for the day, which I can live with. There was another comment over this one. It said NQ, but most of the time they're going together. Yeah, I can clearly see that. Excuse me a second. Maybe this is a better leg, but same again. I'm going to get rid of that for the minute because it's not really helping. Leg down, leg down. If this finishes bullish, maybe this is the way up. Not a fan of that though, gotta say. If that finishes really bullish, I'd say it's likely to push up. We've come up, we've had 2 legs, we've had 2 legs up, we've had 2 legs back. I kind of hope it finishes naff, but I'd say if it finishes bullish, it's more likely to go up. We're clearly working up at the moment, but I kind of hope it finishes naff. This does finish bullish. I might wait for see you, Lance, and all. Yeah, take it easy, Chris. This finishes bullish. I may wait for the higher low if it gives us one. Yeah, if we can get a higher low and something positive looking. Still a bit choppy, isn't it, really? We're getting a push up and a bit of chop, so it just makes it more risky. Okay, nice and bullish. But it's just a bit congested, isn't it? And like that one down there, tick back, tick back, tick back, maybe a couple of ticks back, tick back. Look, we're going. You jump in, you wait for a bit because you're not sure. Tick, 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 you jump in, comes back, stops you out. So I think sometimes you're better off maybe waiting for another bar to finish, or certainly in this case, a higher low. But at the end of the day, it's off. Yeah, it's down a bit. It's a second entry long off the entry point. We've pushed down. We've gone up nice and solid. So maybe it's just a trade you've just got to take. Maybe it's a trade you've just got to take. Well, you can't be fearful, can you? It's only just gone out, but it's pushed up and it's very choppy. So it just makes it a little bit more risky. If it get a higher low, then I'd say it creates a bit more interest. Okay, so it's working. I mean, there's obviously buyers pushing up there, but if you look at both those bars there, so I'd say it's working. Sometimes I think you've just got to do it. For me personally, I'm going to wait. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Matt marks that. Well, it's easy to mark it when it works, isn't it? I mean, it's clearly a second entry long, but it is a little bit congested, but it's off the key entry point. So the fact that that's done that's made me a bit nervous about the trade. Maybe it pushed up and it made a little bit, but it's not quite as positive as we initially thought. Maybe it was going to have a punch, but it's, you know. Have a nice day from me, lads. You too, mate. You done, are you? That was a second entry long, gone for 40. Yeah, the trouble is, sometimes when you read the comments and you have people going new or, you know, or whatever. I had a missed call there. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to pack it in. It was a second entry long, but it is a bit congested there. You've got 4 bars, well, 5 bars side by side with a slight dip. So it does make it a little bit extra risky. If I was going to take that trade, I'd certainly be doing it for no more than 4 ticks, put it that way. But it is push up and it's choppy, up a little bit more, down a bit, and it's choppy, so you just don't know. And we've had so much of this today. I mean, that one there was a second entry long, not fantastic, and it was also a triple test, but it just, you know, shame we will not see tomorrow. Why is that? Finally, first. What do you mean, shame we'll not see tomorrow? I don't know what you mean there, bud. Okay, I'm going to pack it in there, I think. Okay, so not a bad day in the end. $50 down minus fees, but I can deal with that. Not a lot today. That one was a bit risky. I thought it might be okay, the triple test. I thought that might have aided it a bit, but there we go. Not the best setup, that second entry long, high low. Will be better, yeah. I don't know if we're going to have it, do we? It's just gone choppy, isn't it? Okay, so try go once, try go twice. So we've pulled down, made 2 attempts to go higher. Let's see if this triggers the short. Maybe we go long off that. Oh, I see what you mean, Max. No, he does Thursday. He does Thursday. He just doesn't do Fridays. It's Thursday today. So you'll see, Max. Yeah, might be green, but yes. I mean, the trouble is, if you look after, it's easy to go, yeah, that was second entry, it went off the key entry point, but I don't like the fact that that's happened. It may come down. If it comes down and stop that out, I don't think that was a good entry, personally. The fact that it's, you know, See what happens. Okay, so if you've took the failure there, a failed second entry long, it's triggered. So if that pushes up nice and strong, great to see your bar by bar analysis with no outside interference. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, see, there we go. If you're waiting there to push up, so personally, that was a risky trade. I'm glad I left it alone. So I'm quite pleased that. See what I mean? Choppy, still risky. It seems to go off in a channel, but still risky. Yeah, I mean, I left it because it's clearly sideways and congested there, and the way it's been today, choppy, it's just adds extra risk to it. So maybe a couple of legs down and bounce. Who knows? I don't know, but I wasn't expecting that strong push down. Put it that way. But look at this. It's just it's a horrible price action, isn't it? Really, it's been horrible most of the day, I got to say, with the exception of maybe this little. Even so, choppy. Look, it's just up and down in it. I'm quite glad I came out $50 down actually. So I'm done for the day. So I'm going to save my chart image as normal. We may continue up, but who knows? So there you go. That's me done for the day. So right, I appreciate your comments, guys. Sorry if I offended anyone earlier with the Harjit and Sania, but I just need to focus on the price action and how it is. But trouble is, it's easy to get stuck into. You missed a few earlier. Well, maybe I did. But to be honest with it, you mentioned something here, but I couldn't see anything. But look, that's all I can see anyway. The rest is just pure chop and risk. It's just not great trading there. Not great trading here, and that isn't, obviously that was really early. We didn't sort of come in till here. So as soon as the market opened, it was just chopping up and down. Then we had that bit of push up there. The only decent trade, personally, I can see is that second entry long. Nothing else I can really see. I mean, possible second entry short there, but it was a doji, so you couldn't take that. Second entry long there. I looked at that one. Trouble is, it's right in the centre. It's under the EMA. It's just choppy. So for me, that was the most obvious and good setup. But there you go. Right before the downtrend. I don't know. That's all I can see anyway. So that's it for me, guys. So I appreciate all your comments. And I will be here again back same time tomorrow. So have a great evening. Stay safe. And we'll do all again same time tomorrow. Bye for now.